When you were little, did you watch any Disney movies? Like Cinderella, or Toy Story, or even The Lion King? Did your parents get you older Disney films like Snow White? Did you enjoy them? Are you an avid Disney fan perchance? Then if so, I'll tell you the story of a lost Disney film that's not been seen, let alone spoke of, and nearly dropped out of existence. First, let me give you some backstory. My name is Tom Evans, and I was taking a trip to Disney World with my wife Ashley, and we were big Disney fans and wanted to get away from our busy lives due to our taxing jobs. We went to Cinderella's castle in the Magic Kingdom, and as I was admiring the marvellous craftsmanship of the castle, this very old lady walked up to me. She appeared to be very unkempt, with raggedy stringy grey hair, a flat crinkled face, and a crooked nose, alongside having a lazy eye. I noticed she was wearing the pink employee uniform and had her own name tag, so I gave her the benefit of the doubt. And I noticed she had the same name as my wife. Hey, you have the same name as my wife. Castle. I was a bit awestruck. I think she must have been going senile. She was pointing towards the castle, so I thought she was asking if I wanted to go inside. I thought it was a bit odd since no one was actually allowed inside the castle, even if they wanted to. But thinking it was fun, I said yes. And once I was inside, it felt like the most regal place in the world. I was in one of the castle's bedrooms, admiring the bed, when I saw something that looked out of place. There was a wooden desk, and under one of the legs was a tiny scrap of paper. With curiosity, I picked it up and noticed it had the numbers 837 on it. I put it in my pocket, and that's when I noticed Ashley wasn't around. I tried calling her phone, but she didn't respond. But I noticed a text that she'd sent earlier saying she had gone home, as she was feeling sick. She didn't look the slightest bit ill when I last saw her, but I believed her. Anyway, I went back to my hotel room and investigated the paper as best as I could. I decided to use a microscope on the back of the paper, and that's when I actually found something. There was a name on the back. Kelios. 837 Kelios. I immediately googled the name, and just then, the internet went out. I restarted the router, unplugged, plugged it back in, restarted my computer, all that jazz. I guess I won't have internet for a little while. As I was brainstorming ways to get my connection up and running, I noticed something on my desktop. A lone file. It was titled 837 Kelios, and it was on the bottom right corner of the screen. I cautiously opened it, expecting some kind of malware, and saw some files were in it. In it were 3 files: poster.jpg, a text file called 837, and Kelios whip.mpg. I decided to open the text file first, thinking that it would offer some kind of explanation. 837 is RD, do not distribute. Well, that certainly helped me figure out things. Not. Next, I decided to open poster.jpg. It appeared to be some kind of movie poster. Was Kelios supposed to be a Disney movie, but they didn't end up releasing it? The overall feel of the poster was rather dark. Not something I'd expect from a family-friendly company. But by this point, I was really interested now. The last file that I needed to check out was Kelios.swift. It was a movie file, and just then, it hit me what WIP stood for. Work in progress. And if this truly was an unreleased movie, then it must have been cancelled early. And there must have been a good reason why, as I had a gut feeling that seemed to be the case. I opened up the file on VLC and I was on the edge of my seat. Half of me was excited that I was getting to see a Disney movie they had kept hidden for so long that nobody had any idea of its existence. However, I was also anxious because I didn't know what the film was going to be about, and I was thinking about that old lady. She had something to do this, but I'd never end up finding out what. The video itself seemed to be in its work print form, judging by its even worse VHS quality. There was the rundown, run time, and a date in the top left corner. And as for the bottom, there was text saying, property of the Walt Disney Company, do not distribute. And besides that, there was just a black screen and audio fuzz for the first 5 minutes. Then, after 5 minutes, the word Kelios slowly faded into the view. The text itself was coloured a dry red and stayed there for about 15 seconds. Then, after that, it disappeared in a flash. And after more blackness, for 20 seconds, a picture of a lush green field fades in. Now this seemed like something Disney would do, except that grating fuzz noise was still in the background. Then it cut to a photo of a field at night, with a few missing stars in the sky. I expected this to be an animated film, not a compilation of photographs. And then after that it cut to a picture of bolt fruit. Part of me thought this was some kind of joke, but still I sat there patiently, waiting for what would happen next. The next few photos were pretty much the same, just more flowers and trees, but as time went on, they slowly got more and more off-putting. One screen showed an empty street, while the other showed an empty house. Then, after all that, the last photo appeared. It seemed to be in a graveyard, with loads of neatly lined graves, trees devoid of leaves, and a single man standing in front of one gravestone, back turned to the camera. At that point, everything stopped. Except the video, it was zooming in at snail's pace. However, you could only notice it if you practically push your face up against the monitor. Then, when there was only 1 minute left to the video, it was zoomed in enough so you could see and make out the actual figure, no longer facing away from the camera, but just enough so you could still not see, but still see them at the same time. But now that I could see them, they looked familiar, very familiar. They were an old lady with long stringy hair and a crooked nose. Then, for the last second, it cut to the front of the tombstone, which had the name Ashley Evans engraved on it. Then the screen went black, and I got a good look at myself in the reflection. My nose was longer, and my hair was long and stringy, far longer than I remembered it being. My wife is still missing. I tried filing a police report, but they keep denying me for some reason. I have to go now. My teeth are in a lot of pain.